Alrighty, we are back doing Roots again. We took kind of a week off because I was in quarantine and I just decided to just lay low for a little bit, take it easy, take a little break from the camera and all. But we're going to be getting back into it just on a day-by-day basis for now. Pretty soon we'll be resuming some, like regular youth ministry type things and going through the Bible in that sort of way. But for now, I'm just going to keep making these videos. So if you will remember, we are in Roots now. We've moved on to week number 11, actually. We're talking about how people are supposed to love God. And really where we're going to start with that, we're talking about the law as the broader topic there. But we're starting with the Ten Commandments, specifically the first 4 Ten Commandments. And so if you'd let me, I just want to read those to you. This comes from Exodus chapter 20. We're just going to do verses 1 through 11. Next week we'll do the rest of the Ten Commandments, but we're just going to start with the first 4. So Exodus 20 verses 1 through 11 says, "Then God spoke all these words. I am the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the place of slavery. Do not have any other gods besides me. Do not make an idol for yourself, whether in the shape of anything in the heavens above, or on the earth below, or in the waters under the earth. Do not bow and worship to them, and do not serve them. For I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, bringing the consequences of the father's iniquity on children to the 3rd and 4th generations of those who hate me, but showing faithful love to 1,000 generations of those who love me and keep my commands. Do not misuse the name of the Lord your God, because the Lord will not leave anyone unpunished who misuses his name. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. You are to labor 6 days and do all your work. But the 7th day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. You must not do any work, you, your son or daughter, your male or female servant, your livestock, or the resident alien who is within the city gates. For the Lord your God made the heavens and the earth and the sea and everything in them in 6 days, and he rested on the 7th day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath and declared it holy." So we'll just stop there. That's the first 4 commandments. I could really give an entire sermon on each and every single one of those. We obviously don't have time for that. But I want to talk about what I think is probably one of the most important details in this passage that sometimes gets overlooked when we think about the 10 Commandments. We think about 10 Commandments, it's like, oh my goodness, I got to memorize these 10 things and I have to do them. But right at the very beginning, there's a very important statement that sort of is the prelude to everything else that's coming up. It says in verse 2, "I am the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the place of slavery." Something that I've been trying to stress is that salvation comes before the law, the promise, salvation, all those things. That is given by grace. It is given freely. The law is not something that they were to use. The commands are not something that we use to get to God. The commands are something that we do as we already begin living with God, living and walking with God, living in his presence. This is how we sinful people live with a holy God. This is how we respond to the grace that he has already given us. We were not, you and I, we were never enslaved in Egypt. We were not rescued out of literal slavery in Egypt, but the Bible says that we all existed in a state of slavery to sin, in a state of slavery to death, and Jesus Christ brought us out of that. Therefore, because he is the God of our salvation, therefore, because he's shown us this grace, we respond to that by honoring him, by loving him. First and foremost, the greatest commandment is that we love God. And these first 4 commands are really fleshing out the ways that we show love towards God. I wish I had some time to explain them in a little bit more detail, but I really don't. I would just encourage you to read them and think about them and think about the way that they show love towards God, because that's what we are being commanded to do, to respond to his love by loving him back.